Just nope. Thanks, man.
I'm here for you.
I don't feel like. Yeah. I don't think you understand what "here for me" means.
So I'm gonna have like a version of IoT hell right now. So here's what happened. So I think we discussed that I had to get my phone like refreshed or whatever. I took it to the Apple Store like 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah.
After my wife cursed it.
Right.
And so when they did that, my IoT environment got a little screwed up, just because I had to reinstall it and whatever. So I got everything back to working except the garage door was not working in the HomeKit app. It was working inside the app. And so I tried to like screw around with it, and now my garage door is not connected to the internet at all. Not even
inside the app. What's the app for your garage?
It's called MyQ. It's just
this is a smart garage door opener thing. It just pulls the chain or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can go into that app and just hit the little button and it shuts your garage door. Or you can do what I did and bought the HomeKit hub, because the bastards make me pay for that. It was like $60, which then allows you to go into the HomeKit app and then click a button and close garage door. I know, fancy stuff. But it's like my garage door is... So here's what happened was I went into... And this is a brilliance of HomeKit right here. So I went into the MyQ app and deleted the hub, the old garage, like the garage door. I was like, I'll just start over. And so I deleted the hub, and then I deleted the HomeKit hub. And I wasn't really...
do this with a sense of dread, like thinking you're never going to get any of this back. Does you ever worry about this?
About 2 seconds after I hit OK, yeah. So like I deleted both of them. And what I didn't realize is that when it removes the HomeKit like data, it deleted all of my HomeKit data. Like not just...
Oh, yikes.
Like all of it for my entire house. And I was like, first off, why can't I do that inside of somebody else's app is one issue. And so...
Yeah, that's actually kind of nuts.
It is. And so now I've got thankfully I only use like one lighting system. It's Hue. So that stuff all popped back real easily, but I can't get my garage door now back connected to the internet, and I'm trying to,
Is it a distance issue? Do you ever have problems with connect? No.
Nope. Like it's, you follow the directions and your garage door is supposed to make a beep. And then it will say, hey, you can connect to the Wi-Fi. And then you follow the directions and it never makes the beep. So I got to figure out how to effectively just like reset the garage door, I think, connections and stuff. And I don't know.
Right.
So, yeah.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, I added a Sonos Beam to my Sonos Net, or whatever we're calling it. And that went great. Like, it sounds great. I was sort of thinking like I should write something about this, but I don't know what to say. How do you describe audio equipment? It's like describing a display on a phone or a laptop or something. It's like it's got inky blacks and it's really bright and like, I mean, what do you say? Like, what do you? I mean, how do you just say the same thing over and over again? It sounds awesome. It's deep and rich and loud. But this also solves my little connectivity problem, because I didn't do it yet because I'm going away now. I'm driving to Boston today. But when I get home, I'll disconnect that kitchen speaker I'd put in there and put it back in the kitchen. And because it's wired, it should continue working. That will. It's perfect because the beam is literally right next to the router. It's where it should be. Like so the wire is just it's natural. Like I brought the other one in just to try it, and it worked so good I was afraid to remove it. But so anyway, so there's an example of like I realize it's not exactly IoT, but kind of a smart home-esque kind of a just connect usually 2 cables. In my case, I did 3 because I did the Ethernet. But you push a button, boop, and it goes in the app. And
Sonos stuff always tends to work pretty well.
Yeah. The only trick is if you want to do the wire like I do, you actually have to go in and say, don't use Wi-Fi, and then it's fine.
Yep.
Well, it's fine anyway, but I mean, then it uses just the wire, I guess.
Yeah. Other things happening. Microsoft posted late last night that everybody in effectively the Redmond campus or Bellevue area or Seattle area are now going to be working from home for the next about 3 to 4 weeks.
I didn't realize that was a public thing. I woke up this morning and saw the headline, and I thought, other people must have found out. Because a friend of mine from Microsoft emailed me last night to tell me that Panos Panay, in his case, had emailed his org and said, "Don't come to work through the end of March." I was like, "Yikes!" So I was, as I said to you this morning, we should petition our work and see if we can also stay home during the. Oh wait. Yeah, I've been doing this for 20 something years, just sitting at home.
Yep.
And all the health benefits that come along with it, you know. It's just, whew.
Yeah, and then the other thing, which is going to be just great, is that Apple is now going to allow apps to push ads via push notifications if you opt in. And I don't know why you would opt in, but this is one step away from not having to opt in, and then they just show up.
I have this idea in my head about Apple, and there's this notion out in the world that Apple is like this great company and they care about the user experience and blah, 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 and whatever. And I think the indication, well, I should say one indication, the most recent indication that that's baloney is all this services stuff, because it's all advertising. And what I mean by that is that you either pay for the thing or you're going to get advertising everywhere. And this is what happens when you aren't getting people upgrading to new devices every 1 to 2 years, right? They got stretched out a lot. And then they got caught slowing down phones, and they pretend they're like, oh, we're doing this, we were doing it for the user experience. Like, no, you were doing it because your primary revenue driver was new device sales. It's clearly why you were doing this. Like, you can't pretend you were trying to make the experience, but well, of course you can. You're Apple. That's what they do. And then people believe it. No, and people support them, and they're like, oh yeah, obviously they just care about the user experience. No, it's not true. And now that nothing they do is working to sell more phones to the same people over and over again every year, or every 2 years, or whatever. That's why they're going into services. They need some new revenue driver.
Yep.
And there was that post a couple of weeks ago. This guy noted all the places and all these apps where it's just ads. And if you use it's weird because Apple News, which is a terrible app, is full of ads for Apple News Plus. Or you click on articles that you think you can read, and it's like, oh, you need a Plus subscription to read this. Conversely, Google News, which is also a terrible news app, is not full of ads. Like it's, and we think of Google as being like the ad company. Yeah. But, Apple is advertising where it can to get you to pay for services. Like it's, I don't know. I feel like they have a privacy thing. They do have, they've right, wrong, or indifferent. They are either correct or have fooled people into believing they care about the experience. I think they've crossed the line here. Like I'm trying to think. I don't know how to pull this into I don't know if it's an article or just an idea, but I think they've kind of crossed the line. It's weird.
The other thing too in the Apple camp is that don't break your phone, because apparently the stores are running out of replacement parts because of the factory shutdowns overseas.
Yeah,
and so
that's okay. The wait there is so long, the part will come in while you're waiting anyway. So you'll be fine.
Yeah, if that doesn't,
well, at least you can go to a store and get it fixed. I mean, what would you do if you're Samsung or Huawei or?
Yeah, no kidding. That is a good point.
The Google phone. Probably just hear a laughing sound over the phone if you could even reach Google.
Wait, you bought one?
Yeah. Someone here says they bought a Pixel. I know. I told them it wasn't possible. Okay. Oh man.
And if that doesn't make you happy enough, you can now go download PowerShell 7, because I know that's what you've been waiting for, right? It's Mac OS, Linux.
So Mary Jo had this as her pick this week on Windows Weekly, and when I saw that in the notes, and while we were still doing the show, I went and just looked in my OneDrive real quick, because I can't prove this, but I feel like I was one of the very first people outside of Microsoft to even discover that this product existed. And Mark and Manassi and I were on like a security roadshow tour. We spoke at the Microsoft campus, and we met Jeffrey Snover and someone else. I don't remember the guy's name, but and Karen Forrester, who used to work with us at the magazine, had gone to Microsoft, was working on the server team, and introduced us. And they showed us Monad. And they didn't reveal this thing until 2004, maybe, or whatever. And then they didn't ship it until 2007, possibly, whatever. But I pulled out. I have my notes from the meeting. I have a bunch of, I got, presentations that they gave very early internally. And I just put up a couple articles I had written about Monad back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Not actually from that year, but kind of several years later, but it looked back and told that story. I just highlighted that, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, it's kind of an interesting idea that they wanted to leapfrog what was happening in Unix. And that the big problem with Unix command line is that every command, every app, I guess, is this little tiny thing that does one thing. So you get into these giant piping routines where it's like the output from this thing pipes to this thing, which pipes to this thing, which, and then they all take the arguments are always different because they were written by different people at different times. And they wanted to make this beautiful, consistent, object-oriented .NET based thing. And they did. And it's great. But, as we discover over time, it's also, it's kind of complex too. Like PowerShell is if you're not a developer, it might be hard to wrap your head around how objects and properties and methods work and, whatever, but it's an incredibly powerful environment.
Yep. It's very good for managing large groups of users as well. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people listening to this probably use it for, is managing like mailboxes and
automation. Yeah. You want to pump out one change, but to everyone's user account or mailbox or whatever it is. Yeah. Yep.
So you are headed to Boston as soon as we shut this down? Is that what the...
No, it's going to be after. We have a work meeting today, so it'll be after that. So gotcha. I'll be home this morning and then go in the afternoon. And then tomorrow, I don't know if this matters to anybody, but we'll just record the show.
Yeah, it won't be live.
Earlier. Yeah, because I have a lunch thing at Dedham, actually, but near Boston for people who don't live there.
There we go. All right, folks, so that wraps it up for today. We will catch all of you back here tomorrow from, home, I guess, or something.
Yeah, thanks, coronavirus.